Hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of the House of CEO. Today, I am going to be talking about some wellness routines that I've been doing to just help me stay grounded as an accountant and as an entrepreneur, especially now during tax season. It's so important that I stay grounded because we have such a seasonality to our industry. So tax season is very, very busy. So I wanted to take a moment and just tell you all some wellness routines that I've been working on. And I feel like this needs to be an annual podcast because what I was doing last year is not what I'm doing this year. And I feel like my wellness routine is it's always ever evolving. It's always changing. An example of this, it makes me laugh, is a couple of years ago, I was a runner. A part of my wellness routine was to run. And I have a treadmill and I would just zone out, and I loved it because I felt like no workout could give me endorphins like runner's high. And so my wellness routine, was a part of that was an extreme type of workout like running, which may not be extreme to some people, but it's extreme for me. And so now that's not a part of my wellness routine because my hip, particularly like my hips just don't like the running. And so I have slowed down a lot on running as a result of that. So I feel like your wellness routine, whether it's for your physical health, your mental health, your spiritual health, is always going to be ever evolving. In this episode, I'm going to share what my current wellness routines look like, where I am today. All right, so I will break my wellness routines, the things that keep me grounded into a few categories. So movement, so eating, and then I would say the mental part. So the physical part, the nutrition part, and then the mental part. So what I'm doing now as far as like movement and exercise is doing barre. So I do pure barre about 4 times a week. If you don't know what barre is, it is a little bit like Pilates, but of course it has like a ballet bar, or a bar that kind of looks like a ballet bar. And they're isolated, repetitive movements that are not exactly very intense, but they are very targeted and specific with the goal to help you tone. So I would not say it's very cardio rich like running, but it will really get you toned. And so some people may supplement with a higher cardio like running or something like that. But for me, I don't do that. I just do barre. So I've been doing barre about 4 times a week, and it has literally been something that it's been one of the most consistent things that I have done recently as far as things in the fitness side of my life. And so I really enjoy it, and I have really fitted into my schedule to be able to go. And that is a part of the movement that I'm doing. In addition to that, I'm really prioritizing stretching, particularly like my hips, like a lot of foam rolling. I have a Theragun. I guess a second love to running for me, I guess would be like yoga. And so I don't do yoga as much as I would like to. I feel like that's something I also want to pick up again, but just really focusing on flexibility. And especially like as we get older, we do have to prioritize that because stiffness does occur. So just prioritizing flexibility as well as like strengthening muscles and things like that. I don't know how many men listen to the podcast, but for us ladies, especially as we enter late 30s, 40s, perimenopause is also something on the horizon. And building muscle is very important. And I hear it's like a very good way to help mitigate some of the side effects from perimenopause. So building muscle and toning muscles and things like that helps ease some of those perimenopausal or menopausal symptoms. And so I've been given that advice like a couple of times. And so now I feel like where I am in my life, I really want to prioritize doing that. And so barre has been a part of that journey. So working out has done wonders for me as far as like my mental health, just being able to decompress, being able to kind of have like a little beat in my head while I am moving my body. That has really helped me and is definitely a part of my wellness routine to help me stay grounded and really get myself ready for the day. So any movement that you do, you all, even if it's a brisk walk, if it's like the 10,000 steps, like getting your steps in, all of that stuff adds up. But the most important thing is just to stay active. I saw some blog posts, and you probably seen this too, where they talk about like sitting in an office desk, like how unhealthy that is, like sitting in it for extended periods of time. So whether that's taking frequent breaks, getting a walking pad, or just isolated time blocks, just remembering to get up, even like for me, making sure I take breaks, making sure I'm just not like sitting in a desk, slouched over, watching my posture. All of those things, they are little tiny habits that equal up to the bigger goal. So while every day me watching my posture, not sitting for long periods, that doesn't seem like it'll keep me grounded, right? But it compounds, and then next quarter or next month, like I can see the benefits of me being intentional with my physical body. So another thing that I do as far as like just a wellness routine that keeps me grounded is also just being very conscious of what I consume. Now, this is a journey for me, as it is for probably a lot of people. I struggle with my weight or maintaining my weight. Just like a lot of people, I've had kids. My weight has fluctuated over the years, and it's harder to lose the older you get. And once you gain weight, it's like harder to lose it, right? So some things that I do is try to have a practice of making majority of the stuff that I consume healthy. And then if I have to indulge, letting that be, 20% or less. So kind of like the 80-20 rule, right? So I try to, for the most part, eat at home. Now, I will eat out. And when I do eat out, I try to eat stuff that gives me, like, for the most part, like pretty whole foods. Like, what's an example? Like kava. I really like kava. Even like Chipotle, even though, sometimes Chipotle can be a hit or miss. But, just places like that can allow you to get like a good protein, some veggies, and whatever else that you may want. So if I do eat out, I try to stick with something like that. But otherwise, I really try to eat a lot of my foods at home. And I don't know why. I just think over the years from traveling and being in Canada, I don't have the eating out bug anymore. I do enjoy it, like if I travel or I go to another city and, you try restaurants, or if you want to do like a date night or something like that. But for the most part, I try to eat at home, and especially because it could be costly to eat out. And so you can you can meal prep or cook in bulk, or for me, just plan some simple meals. And that can be your meals for the week. And then you can decide if you want to eat out, on the weekends or one night during the week. And then indulging. So for me, my indulgement is always like a sweet treat, like, and it's not ice cream. It's more so like a piece of chocolate, a piece of a nice cookie that I've gotten from like Fresh Market or Whole Foods. It's stuff like that. So I try to not overconsume. That is kind of like the 20% that I was talking about. But prepping meals for me is very important, because during tax season, I sometimes don't feel like cooking once I'm off. It prevents me from kind of having like a decision fatigue and ending up eating something that I really don't want, or something that's not healthy for me. So that practice has really helped in the long run, like many tiny decisions that really add up, and you can see a difference in how you feel, how you sleep, and your body if you're on a fitness journey as well. Yeah, so that's pretty much what I'm doing, you all, as far as like my meals right now. Not being too rigid, like I said, with the cookie and the chocolate, but just really making mindful choices and really coming from a place of intention and really having something in the fridge just in case, like I'm super hungry, so that I do not make any last minute decisions, like I was referring to, that allows me to still kind of fuel my body until I can kind of figure out what I want to eat for dinner, or, something that serves as a snack. So that's what I'm doing for fueling my body. So I've talked about movement, I've talked about food. So some other areas that I've been doing that helps me stay grounded is to really prioritize sleep. Recently, I got an Oura ring. You all have probably heard of this, OURA. It's really given me so much awareness about my sleep and about what I consume and how that affects my body, as far as like my resting heart rate, my heart rate variability, like all of those things. It's really helped shed a light. And so I really enjoy it. And as a result of that, it's helped me really dial down, like not eating too late, as that can affect my sleep, even alcohol consumption. And even for this month, like I will indulge, like previously, like in wine, like I would have wine or something like that. Even this month, I haven't drank at all. And you're able to see how not consuming certain things also helps with the results from the Oura ring. So it's been very amazing. And so I've really been prioritizing rest. So just making sure I don't consume anything before bed that could affect my sleep, making sure that I don't eat too close to bedtime, making sure that I rest enough so that I am well rested to tackle the day. Because I've noticed that if I'm not resting, or I don't wake up, if I don't prioritize my sleep, then I'm slow, in the mornings as I'm getting the kids ready for school. It can affect my attention because I'm kind of tired or fatigued, even with me working out. And you'll have some days where you just don't sleep well. That just happens, right? But for the most part, I try to prioritize rest. Now, I have children, so sometimes my kids will wake up. It's hard to prioritize sleep right now. And so you really just have to do the best you can and rest as much as you can, like when you get breaks or when you have family that's able to relieve you. If you can try to get a nap or try to make a way to get more rest or incorporate more rest, that's a really key thing to also do. But I hear you. If you are also like a young mom, I totally know that rest is not as peaceful as you would like it to be. Another thing that I do to help me stay grounded, even, aside from eating, trying to prioritize eating well, working out, resting, and prioritizing sleep, is really the mental part. Being very conscious of what I consume, being conscious of what I look at. So I try not to consume a lot of social media. Of course, ETS is on social media. So that is a lot of why I am on social media. I think if ETS wasn't on social media, I may not be on social media at all, except for TikTok. It may be YouTube, but as far as Instagram, Facebook, being conscious who you follow, what you consume, all of that is very important. That stuff really seeps in your subconscious mind, especially if you're like in a season of rest and self-care, but you are consuming something that's like go, 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 go. Like it can be a misalignment of where you are in the time period that you are. So you also have to have a lot of discernment, and you also have to just be very conscious of what you consume so that you stay in alignment to where you are in your journey. So for me, it's being conscious of what I consume, not consuming too much social media. And really, for the most part, I only use social media right now for business. I don't really just scroll. I would say my only outlet with social media would be TikTok, which I enjoy, looking at recipes and book talks and all of those things. Love funny videos of dogs. So I do still enjoy TikTok, but also, keeping the forefront of certain books that I'm reading that is helping my spiritual, mental, and personal development well-being. engaging in, hobbies that I really like, making time to speak with people that I care about, making time to check in with my friends, with my loved ones. And the most important one, I would say for me, is just really creating those work boundaries, making sure like when I'm off, not work creeping into personal time. And so really having clear boundaries as well has been something that's been really important. And really just kind of keeping a track on how all four of these things align and just constantly refine. And so I'm not perfect. I have a lot that I have to work on, but I've learned over the years, if I just take little baby steps to try to get, just 1% closer to the fitness level I want to be, as far as how I operate, eating, nutritious meals, resting and prioritizing that, as well as keeping my mind clear, like just making tiny little habits that stack up to the big ones. That is very important to me. There is this book that really talks about this. I want to share it with you all. The name of the book is called The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson, Turning Simple Disciplines into Massive Success and Happiness. I love this book, you all. If you have never heard of it or if you have not read it, I encourage you to check it out. And it's probably like, similarly to the people that love the book Atomic Habits. But the concept of just these simple daily activities, I really love how he just broke it down in all areas of your life, and like how the daily choices that you make, those tiny choices, how they lead to the bigger things. So if you are interested in reading something like that, I'll put that in the show notes, but it's called The Slight Edge. And it has really radically helped me see, it's just the little things that compound to the big things. It's the little decisions that you make. And so even though I'm not exactly where I want to be, I am putting it out here for accountability and just to share my journey of the little tiny things that I'm doing to hopefully create a better version of myself. So hope some of this was helpful for you around also some routines that maybe you can implement as well to help you stay grounded in whatever season you're in entrepreneurship or just as an individual. So thank you so much for listening, and I will see you in the next podcast episode.